Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and you're probably wondering, why am I in the dark? And there is a reason. Obviously, I'm in my my workshop or garage, and I have the lights off because the purpose of this video is to answer a question that somebody had posted on the Facebook page, Low Moisture Carpet Cleaners. And if you are a carpet cleaner using VLM methods, rotary or orbital, and you would like to join us on our Facebook page, there we talk about carpet cleaning with the low moisture methods. We share ideas, things we've learned, experience, before and after pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff like that. We talk about how to be better tomorrow than we are today. And so we share what we've learned. Some of us have been around for a long time. Carpet cleaning, I've been at it over 40 years. Others are brand new in it. And so we have this Facebook page, Low Moisture Carpet Cleaners. And there we just talk about carpet cleaning with low moisture. So do join us if you would like to. And hopefully we can continue to share and learn together. So why have I got my machine sitting here in the dark? Well, the reason is because somebody asked, how do you put a light on these machines? Now it turns out that I have 5 machines sitting here with lights on them, as you can see. And I have been putting lights on my machines ever since I started doing this, which was about 25 years ago. And so I'd like to share with you just a couple of different ways you can do it, things that I've learned, and give you some ideas. So I'll start with the one that actually is probably the oldest version, which is this machine right here. And this machine, as you can see, actually has a fluorescent light in it. And this is a wheels up orbital. I used to use it a few years ago. And it actually worked quite well at shining the light down on the ground at my feet. And I've had that set up there for a long time. I did use this machine for a while, and then went away from it, but eventually go away from it. But anyway, that's one way of doing it. That's a fluorescent light, and I don't think I've ever changed the bulb. As you can see, by the way, all these machines, the light is on even though the machine isn't running. And the reason that is because I wire them up on the hot side of the switch, meaning that where the power line comes in, you would attach your connection to the black wire. And the black wire, because the black wire, where it comes in to your switch, and in this case up here, the switch is right here for the Orbot. Let me think, how did I do it on the Orbot? Well, the switch is actually right here. And for this machine, switch is up in here. But anyway, so what you do is you take your wire and you connect it up to the hot side, the black side. And I'll show you a little device that works really well. I can just get one of these things out of here. This is usually there's a spade connection on these switches, and this is, I don't know if you can see that well enough. I'll put it over here. That's a piggyback spade connector. So you would attach the wire from your light into here, and then pop off the spade connector on your switch, slide this in place. This is on the black, on the hot side of the switch, or the power cord where it comes in side, and then you would reattach your power line from the wall back onto there. So you'd have this would then go off to the light. So when you plug it in, then and your other side of the wire goes to your white, which is your common. The whites go together. So that would be your common. So that would work, and you would be able to then plug in the machine, and the light would turn on, which is handy because then you'll know you have power in that outlet. So that's one way. The fluorescent light is one way to do it. The next machine along is the Brute, or the CX-17, and you can see there's actually two light systems on this one, because there is a fluorescent setup right up over here. If you can see that, there's a really nice compact fluorescent. There's one on each side. Over here too, and when the machine is in its running position, which is down like that, it would shine right down on the carpet. But I actually have it disconnected now, and I have this new LED light up here. There you go, see the lights right there. Because I actually had an issue with wiring in this machine, because turned out that I was at a commercial job, and I plugged into a circuit that had a ground fault interrupter on it, and it kept tripping it, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was really weird. So I brought it home, and I figured, well, I better understand why this thing is tripping a ground fault, because that usually indicates a short. And I was concerned that I was actually having power onto the frame of the machine, like a bare wire or something. Anyway, so I opened up the switch here and used my voltmeter and everything, and I wasn't getting a dead short. But when I put the continuity on the body of the machine and onto my power line, the hot line coming in, even without it plugged in, the needle was actually moving a little bit, telling me that there actually was a circuit somehow happening in the system, where I was getting bleed of electricity onto the frame of the machine, and I couldn't figure out why. I took all the wiring apart and double checked everything, and everything was perfectly fine. I just couldn't figure it out, and I put it aside and thought about it for about a week or so, and I realized there is one reason why it would do that. And that is because over the years of using this, sometimes you get a little bit of dribbles down the side. It would have gotten into the light here, and impurities and minerals in the water actually created enough of a contamination, I guess you could say, that when power was going through, in these lights, one or the other, I don't know which one, it was actually able to bleed back onto the frame. So I was getting a little bit of a voltage leak, as it were. Sounds like an English car, doesn't it? Mr. Lucas, yes. Anyway, so I thought, well, I can't allow that to happen. You have to have safety first. Absolutely. You don't want to be finding a short electricity. You don't want to be playing with that. So I disconnected that light system. I just left them on there. It was easier to do that. And I put a LED light on here. So this is an LED, just a complete unit. LEDs actually have to run on DC, but this has a transistor and rectifier and whatever inside this little box in the back here. So it wires in directly. I've got the wire behind here, and so I just mounted it on the front of the tank so it will shine down on the carpet in front of me. I actually haven't used it yet with this light on it. I actually was quite a little bit disappointed in this light because it doesn't put out the amount of lumens that I was hoping that it would. I actually I'd put it onto this machine and immediately realized that it wasn't putting out enough, and I'll get to how that one works in a sec, because it's the best light I got, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. But anyway, but it does work, and this machine is only used for commercial work anyway, and down hallways and whatnot, where, well, there's obviously lighting, although sometimes it's not great, so it's good to have. The other machine, I guess the next step in the evolution was actually this setup right over here. And that's just ahead of this particular machine right here. And as you can see, what I've done is I've used the electrical junction box, and the original version was the one I'm holding right now in my hand, and there's actually 3 lights on here, and it attaches underneath the tank like this one, only this obviously is a bigger one. I'm not sure why I use such a big one. But anyway, and it works, and it puts out lots of light. Unfortunately, though, what I realized is this was years and years ago, so there wasn't much in the way choices in the way of LEDs back when I was originally doing this. In fact, they didn't exist at all when I first began. My first one was actually a gooseneck office lamp with an incandescent bulb in there, and then I realized that didn't work very well because the bulb would quickly break until I went and got the work rated ones, which worked better. But anyway, that was way back in the beginning. But back to this one. This is halogen, so they put out a lot of heat, so that was an issue. I didn't like that much. It put out a lot of light, and the other issue was that because the box is so big, in order to put it in place, I would have to shove the tank right up to the handle, which actually this one is up quite high, as you can see, as compared to this one here. Look how much lower that is. Big difference, and it makes a difference with the center of gravity. So I will change this one over eventually, so that I can slide the tank down, because the lower the tank is, the lower your center of gravity, the better the balance, easier it is on you. Anyway, this one here is actually an LED, but I actually kind of made it. Oh, no, I didn't. Pardon me. My bad. There was another version on here. I just forgot. I'd actually changed it. So these were 2 LEDs that I got from Home Depot, and there is a transformer in here because they are 12 volt. That's why the box. So there's a transformer in here, and that keeps it out of sight and nice and compact and everything. But as I said, because the box is here, that means that the tank is sitting up, what is that, 6 or 8 inches up the handle, whereas it could actually be lower if I didn't have the box here. But that's where the final rendition, which I'll get to in a minute, solved that problem. But anyway, the other issue with this one is it doesn't actually put out these 2 LEDs don't put out that much light. I mean, it's better than nothing, but then the last one is my current machine. But what I'll do is I'll show you the Orbot version, because it actually shows you what's inside of this one. So the Orbot, which looks very cool, because they got the Orbot spray board glowing, the words there, so it looks pretty cool. And I'll show you how I did that one. I have to lower the handle here so we can look underneath here. So these are light panels. I don't know if I can overexpose this or whatever. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can make that out or not, but what they are is they are actually, actually I'll turn off the light. I'll turn this off, and then you can probably see it. I'll have to turn on the garage light here. So they're actually LED panels, and you can buy them. I bought them at a store that sells like electronic transistors and diodes and little electrical switches and everything for computers and electrical type things, and they weren't very expensive. I don't remember what they were, but they weren't very expensive. And they're just panels, and what I did is I just glued them on there with goop. Pretty easy. And lift this up. Okay. And the transformer is actually sitting inside of here. So that's how I did it. That's the light source, and that puts out the most light of any LED that I've used yet. Maybe there's better ones, but this machine here has those two light panels in there. You can almost see in the reflection there. You can almost see them through the opaque lens there. And what I did is I originally actually bought this. This is the box that's sitting under that machine. And I was at Home Depot, I guess, and I saw this and I thought, oh, that might work fine. Well, it works fine, except it has really weak light in it because it's meant as a, patio light, and just to give you a little bit of light, not a lot. So it was a good idea. And look how nice that looks. Nice and compact and slick looking. But I didn't put out enough light, so that's when I went and I found the two square LED panels, and I just pulled this thing apart, stuck the two LED panels in there, glued them actually onto a piece of Coroplast or ABS, I guess, that I had. Glued it on there. Worked fine. It's been there for 3 years. Haven't had a problem. And then what I did is I actually cut these bars off the front of it because they blocked a little bit of the light. Because you can see here, I'll unplug this so you can see it better. I think I'm overexposing it a little bit. So we'll move it back. So this is actually one of these boxes with the bars off. Oh, check that out. Isn't that weird? It's unplugged. Isn't that amazing? That's LED for you, because there's the transformer acts like a capacitor. It's really weird. I unplug it, and the next thing you know, the light's still flickering. It's quite interesting how that works. Anyway, so that's how I did it, and I put the transformer into this box on the back, nice and slick, out of sight and safe, and not going to get wet or whatever. And so that's how I did it. It's keep it simple, I guess, is what I'm saying. There's a lot more choices for LEDs anyway, but when you're looking for an LED light, just make sure you know how many lumens it'll be putting out. The more the better, obviously. You can see that this one here does put out quite a bit of light. Yeah, that's pretty bright. The transformer can handle two of these LED panels. They're rated at a certain amount of power that they draw or whatever, and I was able to determine what was the right transformer for it. And it's 12 volt. They run on 12 volts, and they run on DC. So anyway, that's how you do it, and hopefully that'll give you ideas, and you'll be able to find a way that'll work for you, and hope that helps you out.